In the world of the ultra-famous, there are certain grand gestures that signify more than just wealth. They signify a desire for permanence. Private jets, sprawling mansions, but perhaps none is more personal, more profound than building a private place of worship, a chapel, a personal monument to God and to love, shielded from the eyes of the world. In the heart of Blake Shelton's 10,000-acre Oklahoma kingdom, there stands such a place, a chapel built of stone and wood, designed to be a sanctuary for an everlasting love. The world saw the fairy tale photos when Blake and Gwen Stefani said, "I do," right here, a ceremony so intimate and personal, it seemed to scream authenticity in a Hollywood world of manufactured romance. But this chapel story did not begin with Gwen, and its history with Blake's first wife, Miranda Lambert, is only the first layer of its secrets. This sacred building holds one final, profound secret that connects both of Blake's marriages, a secret that was hidden in plain sight on Gwen's wedding day, and that might just explain everything about why his great loves have ultimately failed. And once you see it, you will never look at this chapel or their love story the same way again.
On Wednesday, Gwen shared a new shot from the special day. This one has her and Blake posing with her three sons, Kingston, Zuma, and Apollo.
So I think my cool points are going up a little bit with the kids.
And Mom definitely approved of the kids' tuxedos. She captioned the pic, "Thank you, Susie Perry, for making all my boys wedding suits. We love you."
It's a lot of boys, and they have a lot of energy, and we have so much fun.
I can understand how you guys feel. It's the worst possible feeling. It's confusion, it's anger, it's just an overall brokenness.
Let's begin with the image the world fell in love with. The chapel was Blake's ultimate romantic gesture to Gwen, a public declaration of his commitment, built in the most private of settings. In a world of over-the-top celebrity weddings, theirs was refreshingly simple. Officiated by their close friend, the Voice host Carson Daly, with only a handful of family present, it was the perfect blend of A-list stardom and down-to-earth country values. It was a wedding that felt real.
The location of the wedding held significance for Blake and the three boys.
But my kids are really lucky.
As the country star told ET, he spent quality time with Gwen's entire family at the Oklahoma estate.
It's been great, and it's...
For Gwen, this was more than just a wedding. It was a salvation. After the brutal and public implosion of her marriage to Gavin Rossdale, this quiet ceremony on a peaceful Oklahoma hill was the happy ending she had fought for. It was a symbol of safety, of a love that was grounded and true. For Blake, the chapel was his proof to the world, and perhaps to himself, that he was no longer the heartbroken man from a failed country marriage, but a devoted, stable family man, ready to get it right this time. The chapel was a monument to their second chance. This time, it was built to last. But to understand the chapel's deepest, most complex secret, we must first peel back the layers of time and uncover the ghost of the marriage that came before, a ghost that haunts the very ground on which this holy structure was built.
You by Blake Shelton.
Perfect. Perfect.
There's no way we did not.
That is so perfect.
Brandon, I swear to God.
That was one of them.
We did not pick that on purpose. I had no idea we would talk about that.
That was actually perfect.
I think it's my job to make sure that I'm honest, even when it ain't pretty, you know?
Miranda taking the moment in stride. An uncomfortable one, not only because her former husband's name was brought up, but also because of the mention of his song, God Gave Me You.
Before this chapel was a symbol of Gwen's future, the very land it occupies was the heart of Blake's past. For a decade, this ranch was the kingdom he shared with another queen, the fierce and brilliant Miranda Lambert. The ground beneath this chapel was witness to their own vows, their own dreams of forever. They too built a life on this land, filled with rescue animals, songwriting sessions on the porch, and the shared identity of being country music's ultimate power couple. When that marriage ended in a storm of headlines and heartbreak, Blake was left alone on this land, surrounded by the ghosts of a life that was gone. Many believed the construction of the new home and the new chapel for Gwen was a deliberate act of building over the past, of replacing old ghosts with new hopes. But this is not a story about Miranda. The chapel's most profound secret doesn't involve the woman from Blake's past, but rather the deepest, most personal, and most private beliefs of his new bride. To understand this, we must go back to Gwen's first marriage. Gwen Stefani is a devout, lifelong Roman Catholic. Her faith is not a casual part of her life. It is a reported cornerstone of her identity, a source of strength that she has said got her through her darkest moments, including her painful divorce from Gavin Rossdale.
You know, when I met her, it was just magic. It was just instant. And so...
Which she's a pretty magical person.
Yeah, she is. And so that's all that I met. That's all that, you know, I was just... She changed me so much, you know, she sort of softened me in so many ways, you know. She comes from such a wholesome life that there was some taming qualities to it that was incredibly special. So I prioritized that feeling over any interpretation of it. I was moving so fast at that point. So many things were going on, you know, from all angles that wisdom wasn't one of them, and reflection wasn't one of my qualities at the time. I just was extremely just thought she was amazing, and that was all that mattered. And everything else was a consequence of that. You know, it wasn't.
Yeah, I get that.
No, that was it.
In the eyes of the Catholic Church, a divorce is not recognized. A divorced person cannot remarry in the church. So Gwen began a long, arduous, and deeply personal journey. She petitioned the Vatican itself to have her 20-year marriage to Gavin Rossdale officially annulled. An annulment is not a simple divorce. It is an intense investigation by a church tribunal, requiring witnesses and testimony to prove that the marriage was invalid from its inception. It's a process that can take years, and one that forces a person to relive their most painful memories.
We just started this friendship, which was just unbelievable that God would put us in a position to have each other at that moment, in that, like, in the same exact moment. He came up to my chair for the first time he's ever walked to my chair, and he was like, I'm sick from what he was just like, and I never saw him like look so upset, do you know what I'm saying? And then I just felt like such a loser, you know, and I just got myself up. I remember driving down, it's making me cry now, but driving down like Santa Monica Boulevard, just crying my eyes out, going, what am I doing right now?
For years, she fought this quiet, difficult battle. And she fought it for one specific, sacred reason, so that she could one day remarry in a holy Catholic ceremony, a sacrament fully blessed by her faith. It was, by all accounts, immensely important to her. And in early 2021, a miracle. The church granted the annulment. The path was finally, blessedly clear for the devout Catholic wedding she had longed for and fought so hard to make possible. The stage was set. The annulment was granted. The world expected a ceremony in a beautiful, historic Catholic church in Los Angeles, surrounded by the traditions of Gwen's lifelong faith. So why? Why, after all that struggle, did she get married in a backyard chapel in Oklahoma, officiated by the host of a television singing competition? And that, right there, is the secret. The one profound secret the chapel holds about both of Blake Shelton's failed marriages. It is a monument to a great and perhaps fatal compromise. Gwen Stefani, the devout Catholic, after years of fighting a deeply personal battle for her faith's blessing, set aside the sacred traditions she held so dear to marry Blake Shelton on his terms, on his land, in his world. Blake, while a man of faith, is not Catholic. Their wedding in that beautiful personal chapel wasn't just a blending of two worlds. It was the moment one world conceded to the other. It was a crack in the foundation of their marriage, hidden in plain sight on their happiest day. And this reveals the secret pattern, the common thread in both of his great loves. For Blake Shelton, it seems that love must exist within his sanctuary, within his rules, on his Oklahoma soil. His relationships must conform to his world. Miranda Lambert, the country queen, fit that world perfectly, until her own star grew too bright, and her own career demanded she leave it. Gwen Stefani, the global superstar from a different universe, could only enter Blake's world by leaving a core piece of her spiritual identity at the door. The secret the chapel holds is that it was never a neutral ground. It has always been Blake's world. It is a symbol of a love that demands conformity, a love that requires you to meet it on its own terms, or not at all. It is a beautiful monument, not just to love, but to compromise. And now, in the wake of their hypothetical split, it stands as a silent witness to the profound question of whether some compromises, even those made for the greatest love, are simply too great to bear.
You have your 3rd year wedding anniversary. Congratulations to you on that.
That is so beautiful. The pictures are so cute you're putting on there. So like anxious about writing and insecure, and I have writer's block and all these things. And she said, "What you waiting for, Gwen Stefani?" And then I came in the next day and she had this like crazy song, and that's how that song was born. What is Gwen Stefani's phone number?